We're all pretty smart about electricity inside our homes, right? We don't use the toaster in the bathtub. But the second we step outside into the yard, it's like all those rules just fly out the window. We're dragging extension cords through wet grass, trimming hedges while it's drizzling, and basically just hoping for the best. So today, we're going to talk about the hidden dangers out there and how to handle them like a pro. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll get into why your yard is a completely different beast than your living room when it comes to electricity. Then, we'll talk about the absolute must-have safety gear. After that, we'll look at the power tools we all use and the common mistakes people make. And finally, we'll uncover the invisible dangers lurking right under your feet and over your head.
So, what's the big deal? Why is using an electric hedge trimmer outside so much riskier than, say, using a blender inside? Well, it all comes down to one simple thing: control. Indoors, you've got a controlled, predictable environment. Outdoors, you're on nature's turf, and nature does not play by our safety rules.
And just look at the difference here. It's really night and day. Inside, you're standing on dry floors, maybe some wood or carpet, things that don't conduct electricity well. But outside, you're on damp soil, you've got wet grass, maybe a little rain. That ground becomes a perfect conductor. You've basically turned your whole yard into a giant electrical circuit, and you're standing right in the middle of it.
And it's not just the obvious stuff like rain. That damp soil we just talked about, it's a huge factor. Even the sun is kind of working against you. Those UV rays are constantly breaking down the plastic insulation on your power cords, making them brittle and exposing the wires. And of course, out there, it's so easy to nick a cable with a shovel or run one over with the lawnmower. It's a whole different ballgame.
Okay, I know, that all sounds pretty scary, but here's the good news. We have some amazing tech that's designed specifically to protect us from all this. So let's talk about our first line of defense, the absolute non-negotiables that literally save lives every single day.
All right, meet your new best friend, the RCD, or residual current device. The easiest way to think of this thing is as a super fast, super sensitive safety switch. It's constantly watching the electricity flowing through a circuit. If it senses that even a tiny amount of that electricity is going somewhere it shouldn't, like say through your body, bam, it shuts the power off in a fraction of a second. We're talking faster than a heartbeat.
And this is the magic number right here, 30 milliamps. That is an incredibly small amount of current. But that's the whole point. An RCD rated at 30 milliamps is sensitive enough to detect a current so small that it can shut off the power before a dangerous shock can do serious damage to your heart. It's the critical feature that makes this a life-saving device, not just a fuse.
So let's lay down some ground rules. Any socket you have installed outside has to be weatherproof. Look for an IP44 rating or higher, and it absolutely must be protected by a 30 milliamp RCD, no exceptions. When it comes to extension cords, only use ones that are actually made for outdoor use. And here's the one people always forget. You have to unroll the entire cord before you use it. If you leave it coiled up, it can get incredibly hot, melt, and even catch fire. And if you've got an older outlet with no protection, just get a plug-in RCD adapter. It's a cheap and brilliant piece of insurance.
Okay, now let's get to the fun stuff, the power tools, the lawn mowers, the pressure washers, all of it. This is where the risk gets really active and personal, because now you're holding the potential danger right there in your hands. Before you plug in any corded tool, I want you to burn this little 3-step check into your brain. Do it every single time. First, just give the cable a quick look. See any cuts? Any frayed bits? If you do, don't use it. Second, double-check that you are plugging into a socket protected by an RCD. And third, while you're working, just always know where that cable is. Don't let it get tangled around your feet or, even worse, get in the path of what you're cutting.
In all of this, it kind of leads to a really important question. If you're out buying a new tool for the yard and you have the choice, which power source is really the safer option?
And the answer couldn't be clearer. Battery-powered tools are just hands down the safer choice for working outside. Think about it. With a mains power tool, you are literally tethered by a cord to a high-voltage outlet, a cord you could cut at any moment. With a battery-powered tool, that entire risk just vanishes. There's no cord to cut, no cord to trip on, no direct connection to the grid. Honestly, if you have the option, go cordless. It's a no-brainer.
All right, on to our last section. And here, we're going to talk about the dangers that are, in my opinion, the scariest of all, because you often can't see them. They're invisible, right up until the moment things go horribly wrong. So let's talk about what's under the ground. Before you stick a shovel in the dirt, whether you're planting a tree, putting in a fence post, whatever, you have to find out what's buried there. Hitting a live, high-voltage power line is an absolute catastrophe.
Just call your local utility company. They have services that will come out and mark where the lines are. It's a simple phone call that could very easily save your life. Never, ever just start digging and hope for the best.
And the exact same logic applies to the sky. Look up. If you're working on a ladder or using a long tool like a pole saw, you have to be totally aware of where any overhead power lines are. And here's the part that gets people. You don't actually have to touch the wire. High voltage electricity can arc or jump through the air to find a path to the ground. And guess what makes a fantastic path? A big metal ladder that you happen to be holding. Just give those lines a very, very wide berth.
So look, if you boil this all down, it really comes back to these 3 simple golden rules. Number 1, use the right gear for the job, stuff that's actually rated for the outdoors. Number 2, always use an RCD. It is your single best defense. It's non-negotiable. And number 3, just respect the environment you're in. Pay attention to water, what's underground, and what's over your head.
And that kind of brings me to my last thought, which is really more of a question for you. After hearing all this, what's the one thing, the one little habit you're going to change next time you're working in the yard? Maybe it's finally getting a plug-in RCD, or maybe it's just uncoiling that extension cord all the way. Whatever it is, that's the change that really counts.